Hello guys, and welcome to a new strategy series. This is Birth of America 2. This is a grand strategy game. This is one of AJOD, the developer's older grand strategy games, and I've been meaning to get into this developer's games for a little bit now. I was going to start with a different one, but this one was recommended to me as it's simpler, should be easier to get into, and it's apparently pretty fun. We're gonna go to a new game here, and as you can see, there's a bunch of scenarios. I've already done the tutorial, and I've done this right here. This is like an 8-turn scenario, as you see. It's easy. It's an easy scenario, and it's almost impossible to lose it, and I won it in like 5 minutes or less. So like, that doesn't sound like a very fun video. But I do know at least three campaigns in here that would be fun. One right here, which is the one we're gonna do today, is the French-Indian War, where the British fought the French, and the French relied heavily on the Indians, and the British were kind of getting their asses kicked at the beginning, but they just accumulated forces in there, and there was a whole separate war happening in Europe that was like an extension of this, or well, this was the extension of that. There's also some others, like the American Revolutionary War. You play as the US versus the British. There is the where is it? The War of 1812, which again is the US versus the British again. And there's all these smaller scenarios. Most of them take part in between the other scenarios, like as smaller isolated parts. This is an exception right here, this Fallen Timbers one. This isn't as long as the bigger grand campaigns, but it's still 44 turns. This one might be interesting to try. And there's also something within, I'm not sure which one it is here, 79? Yeah, I think it's this one, where you actually play as Spain and you're fighting the UK in the middle of the Revolutionary War. Well, we'll get to that stuff later. You guys tell me what you think about the game and think about what you want me to play. But today what we're going to do at the start is we're going to play the French-Indian War, and we're going to see how it goes. So, Indian War, British, because we are going to be playing as the British here in the French and Indian War, Great Britain. And we have different victory objectives, as you see. We win if we control 12 strategic cities and the objectives of Albany and all this other crap. France only needs 7 strategic cities, and they have, of course, far less of a list. Let's just get right in here. So the French, as far as I'm aware, they don't get much of any reinforcements from like their mainland. They get like reinforcements, right? But they don't get new units. The British slowly get new units coming in over, I believe, the first 4 years of the war, and I think this war in this game can go on for actually we can just check right here. Here's our little list. We're already part ways into 55. We have until what looks like the end of 63, and I think for the first 4 years you just kind of get units thrown at you. So let's take a look at the situation here. Well, here's the proper map that's easier to read. This all here, all this red, this is us. This is Great Britain and all the Indians, the Native Americans. For the purpose of the game, I'll probably just be saying Indians or natives, whatever the screen shows me. This is where our native allies are, and this is where we are in all this territory. There's some off-screen stuff too that we'll worry about in a moment. You see we have some like boxes, we got some ledgers of like the terrain of the game. For the record, I have no experience with AJOD games, so I'm going to be learning. All this gray stuff you see here is all French or French-Indian controlled, except this right here, it's hard to tell the difference. We got to go to this map. It'd be easier if we could see down here, but this whole area cannot be entered in this scenario. This is Spanish Florida. I don't know if it becomes accessible, but for right now, it's not accessible. Some of this stuff is accessible over here, like the British West Indies, the French West Indies. This is all accessible. I could go invade this if I wanted. We have these shipping boxes here where we could try to sink enemy ships, or they could try to sink ours, where we can put like merchantmen here, and they will basically take supply. Let me show you the supply levels. They'll take supply from coastal cities and harbors and try to spread them across whatever little area they're tied to in these shipping lanes. And it does some other things too, I think. It says represent main areas where merchant ships can transit. Some factions can increase their income by adding more ships into the box. And it increased the high-speed transport pool used to shuffle supply along the coast. Okay, so they choose to prioritize telling you that actually this is a way to create income. It's also a way, I think, to generate engagement points. And engagement points are used in these little option screens, which we can't see anything on right now. It'll generate next turn, probably. Which we can use to acquire some things like maybe some more units, but also, most importantly, I think, replacements. Right now, these are our replacements, meaning if some of our units get injured and then they need some replenishment, it comes out of this pool. And I don't know if you get stuff automatically added into this pool, but I know that you can spend engagement points to add stuff. So, for example, if I run out of line infantry, then my line infantry units can't get replenishments. We may have tons of militia, but I can't just take militia and stuff them into a regular line formation. That just wouldn't work. I mean, in real life, you probably wouldn't be so picky, but then again, you might be. Either way, it tries to keep it to like a certain quality. The Indians even have their own things with the Indian Raiders. But yeah, this is going to be a game of long-term strategy, and the first couple turns, honestly guys, we are going to get our asses kicked. The French Indians way outnumber us, and they have some special abilities that I'll talk about as they happen, but they're going to come at us all in the south here, all over here, probably towards our capital as well, and they're going to raid us, they're going to pillage us, they're going to ruin our supply lines, and we don't have very much we can do about it. I'm going to show you real quick here. So 1, 2, 3. I have just showed you every single land-based army that we have currently at the start of the game that is actually capable of moving around and doing stuff. And this can change every turn. We can get new ones. These little envelopes here can go yellow, which means a army is deactivated, which means we can't use it to attack. It would have combat penalties. It would have movement penalties. There's also generals with abilities. We have George Washington in here. He seems like a good one. He trains conscripts into regulars, which seems pretty cool. He can raise partisans more likely. This is our main army, I think, at least in the main heart of the country, or the colonies. And he's Edward Braddock. He was apparently a terrible general in history. He's reckless, poor spy network, dispersed move. These are all like debuffs, basically. Apparently what he did in history was he took this army and he led it up to, let's see if I can find it. I could find it easier with this. Yes, right here. Fort Duduc. I can't speak French, so we're going to call it Fort Duck. He led his troops up to Fort Duck, and apparently he died here, got his ass kicked, and that's when the British decided, oh, we need to send more troops to the Americas, I think. Of course, you know, I don't think it would be smart for me to, like, take him out of this stack. Here, let me pull them out of the city real quick. If I took him out of the stack, it would then be led by this guy. Here, the problem is this guy isn't as high of a rank as Braddock. He's also deactivated. Braddock, this whole army just got renamed. I don't know if I can rename an army, but it likes to rename them whenever you move things around. Regardless, it will happen, so the names don't matter too much. As you see, he has a maximum command of 16, as opposed to the other dude, which had much less. What did the other guy have? He had 4. It's because their ranks are different. If Braddock dies, then technically I could just promote another commander up, and it would favor ones that have more seniority, like George Washington has 14 seniority. If that was the highest seniority, then he would be expecting a promotion. If I didn't promote him, then I'd lose some morale up here, which could lose me the game, but it could also hurt some other things. So you're expected to promote the highest ranking person, typically. I'm going to hope that Braddock doesn't die. I'm still just going to use him. I'm not just going to try to get him killed. This army up here is almost as strong, the army of Nova Scotia, but if we take a look, it's kind of winter up here, and this game, while being simpler than other games by this developer, apparently still has weather effects, and we don't want to be running around in winter, because we're going to take massive attrition. We're just not going to have a good time in general, so I'm just going to leave him be right now, basically. We'll fuck with that later. This dude's in it, like, everyone's just in a similar situation right now. It's the middle of April, there's snow everywhere. Potentially some harsh weather. Snow, yeah. I have to, when I play this, I actually need to have the manual open because I don't know this game and the tutorial's garbage. Yeah, snow is considered harsh weather. And so if you're running around in it, you can take some supply penalties. However, I believe if you have control, you can see right there, it says controlled by, I don't know if you can't see it it doesn't show in this scenario, but it says controlled by Great Britain. I believe if it's at 100% or if it's at over 50%, then so long as you're in a region with a friendly structure like a fort or a depot, I don't know if cities count. I mean, they may. Then I think you ignore these penalties. However, if I went somewhere in France or somewhere that like here that didn't have anything built there, well, then I would take those attrition penalties. And, you know, I start taking attrition, maybe I lose some guys, and then I might have to pull stuff out of the replacements. That's as far as I understand. I may be talking out of my ass. If you know more about this game than I do, you tell me. Over here, you see we have another army, but they're locked, as you can see. Locked for 3 turns, and then he unlocks later. If he gets attacked, he automatically unlocks, and then I can move him. It's for, like, putting historical armies, you know, where they're supposed to be until a certain time. Unless someone plays ahistorically, then there's ways to get around it, like, you know, like that. But basically, if I do try to pull these guys out of Halifax, and I go over here to try to attack the French, then we're going to see some losses, and I'd rather not put up with that right now. For now, I have to figure out my plan. So, to win, let's take a look. This is the historical background. To win, we got a couple things here. So, French and Indian War, key forts, French succeeds delaying tactics. Yeah, play for long-term survival. Okay, so there's a couple ways to win. Victory conditioned by victory point accumulation. We start out with 0 victory points. 0. And it's not going to get better very fast because we're going to get our asses kicked these first few turns. The enemy starts out with 100. That is no bueno. We don't like that. There's also a foreign intervention level here, and I think only one side actually can get foreign intervention, and I don't know which side it is for this scenario. If it is us, then essentially we want to have more victory points or just be winning in general. I don't know the specifics, but basically if it does go up, then whoever can have others help them in the scenario may trigger other countries to come to their aid, which may get them some military supplies or, like, I don't know, maybe engagement points, maybe units. Really, I don't know how this works. This is my first ever AJOD game, so we're going to be learning this together. Here's strategic towns. These are very important. These objectives, I think if I take all of these, I win right here. And, yeah. So 14. There's 14, and you need 14 as a victory condition. And it may automatically fulfill it for you. I know there's different quote-unquote endings that you can get. Not like, you know, story endings, but like, oh, how well did you do kind of endings. Over here's the strategic towns, and we control 10. There's 20. We need to control 12. I think the French needs to control 7. This is another thing that you need by the end of the game, I guess, to win. It's weird. It's like the victory points, the objectives, and this. I don't really know which one's more important. We do also start out with these, like, ships. These are all transport ships of some kind spread around. These bateaus are the New York are they're about half the size and capacity of these bigger ones like the New England, but these are not combat ships by any means by the looks of it. They have ammo, so these bigger ones, oh, they have a lot of ammo comparatively and a lot more supply. Only slightly better combat strength though. So these ones are probably better for just going up and down like rivers, whereas these ones are better doing other things. I seem to have 2 of these, so maybe I should try to figure out what to do with them. Already, I'm taking Braddock here, and I'm sending him to Fort Allen. It'll take him about a turn to get there. I think 1 turn is a month or something. I think it's like a month. And so I'm going to bring him up here to Fort Allen because it's heading towards his real-life historical goal. If Fort Cumberland doesn't get razed to the ground by any French Indians, I have the supply map open. Yeah, this is right next to the Indians, so I feel like this is going to get completely destroyed the very first turn. Like, I've loaded up on the French side while trying to figure out who to play, and I've seen the amount of Indians that they have, and it is overwhelming. So I feel like this is going to get burned to the ground in the first turn, but I mean, I don't know. We'll see. For now, though, since it is one turn, I'm going to bring him up here to Fort Allen. Maybe bring him over here later, if it's still standing. And then try to go up here. But we have to be mindful of the weather. It will be hard if I do go this route to actually get him up there in time. Because if I just started moving that way right now, it would take like almost half a year to get up there. And that's half a year moving with like no supply. No supply whatsoever. So we want to stop by here because there is supply there. Let me turn that map back on. Yeah, there you go. There's supply here. That's why I hope this doesn't get burned down. There's supply here too. But this may be like the last place I can go, I guess, that has supply. So I don't know. I'll reevaluate my decision when we get here. And then I do kind of want to bring him up here afterwards. But I have to figure out what to do with these other units for now. So one of my only 3 units right now is this guy right here, John Winslow. And I do want to get him down south, I'm thinking, because I will be able to use him to intercept any natives coming up this way. Since I'm moving Braddock, I mean, all that's going to be here to stop them are like militias and garrisons that they're probably just going to stomp right over. But there's a predicament, and that's that he's unactivated. So if I try to move him, he's going to move really slowly. I could try tossing him on a ship. The problem is all the waters are frozen because of the winter. Doesn't mean I can't move on them. It just means it's like really harsh weather. Imagine, sailing on a ship in, 20-degree weather or lower. So I'm afraid that if I put him on a ship, like we have docked a ship right here, that he might take some attritional losses. So I guess for this turn, I'm just going to leave him there, and maybe I'll move him next turn. Same thing for what I've got going on up here. And I guess this means I'm only actually moving one thing this turn, because like there's so much harsh weather that I feel like if I move anything, it's just going to suffer attrition. Unnecessary extra attrition. So I'm just going to move Braddock, I guess. I mean, he's going from a civilized area with a major road to track to a wild area with no road, but one that has supplies. And so these other modifiers do affect things. I just looked it up, and yes, civilized regions give 10% less attrition, so this is good. Roads, I imagine, do something similar. I just looked that up as well. Roads are treated as clear terrain regardless of the actual terrain. Major roads remove the cost of moving, like I guess attrition-wise, by 50%. So it's a shame there's no major roads on our way. Here's one, but yeah, it's not on our way. And these tracks are apparently like a step up in civilization from like wilds, but it's still something that would actually hurt us and help the Indians. So I mean, good luck to you, Braddock. Let's hit end turn. All right, so we're hitting next turn, and it's going to generate some files. Like, this is the AI calculating its turn. This is based on how the multiplayer of the game works, too. It has a very weird, interesting system called play by email. You can already see French units moving towards us and attacking that fort, that one fort before anything. And there's a British defeat. We had 315 men garrisoned there. 103 men just died during the fight. Just some militia units. He arrived with some far better trained by the looks of it. Raiders, couriers, braves, raiders, Indian raiders, I guess. Led by someone, actually, and we didn't have a leader. He was led by someone. He has stats. He had 583 men. You can see some other statistics here. So the amount of people inside a city. So they assaulted a city, and they got less casualties than we did and just did so much better. We didn't have any entrenchedness, so I guess we didn't have a fort, so that could explain that. But yeah, that's a British defeat right there. I don't know what's happening there. Oh, they're attacking it again. Oh, because I guess we still had troops, yeah. This time we lost 20 men to their 56 men, and we're we started with 217 men after that last battle. They had 509. We actually won this time with our 2 militia. Huh. They're attacking it again. Yeah, they're just going to attack it every day. So what's happening is days are going by. 19 days has already gone by since I ended my turn. 19 days has passed. And yes, it does look like this will be a month-long turn. And so they're just repeatedly trying to attack it. They were moving for probably 2 weeks. And we got a British victory again, starting with 190 men. We lost no men this time. 444 men of theirs. They lost 62 men to our 0. None of our actual, like, stacks here. I guess you can call these stacks. I don't know the actual term. Pips. I know games like to refer to little tiny things like that as pips. I don't know the proper term. Maybe you can tell me. Looks like, which had ammunition. I remember this having like 100. Our militia may be out of ammunition. So that would be impressive if we won that without any ammo and no losses. But they're attacking it again. British victory, 0 men lost. They've lost 56 men. I think these are like rounds of combat that are happening over the days, because this is the next day. And they've lost another 56 men, and we're just holding with no ammo, apparently. I find that hard to believe. Oh, wait, no. Ammo in this game, I think, only applies to, like, siege units. And then supply is ammo for everybody else. Okay, so we're doing good. We're doing all right. The battle continues. They lost 116 men in that wave. And now, look, we have trench effectiveness, meaning we've actually dug in to defend. They're running out of ammo. They don't have any siege units, so that's kind of weird. Maybe that means ammo is what I thought it was. You know, I really don't know. We're going to learn as we play this. You see, this dude's been moving as well while this battle's been happening. We're on day 21. This dude's been moving, and it says this region has been pillaged, reducing greatly the chances to live on the land if need be. Adjacent towns and cities also get a slight supply production penalty. If I remember correctly, slight doesn't describe it. I think if a place gets pillaged, it only generates like 1/3 of the amount of supply. Maybe adjacent ones don't get as big of a penalty. But he's just moving through a bunch of undefended land and unsettled land, just pillaging as he goes, this guy. He's an irregular unit. They're the ones that do that. Regular ones don't. Regular ones do the fighting. But let's close that window. Battle's continuing. British victory. Oh man! We're actually seeing enemy units drop. I gotta tell you, like, when I picked the sides to, like, figure out who I wanted to play, I would always hit next turn, just to see what happens when a turn goes by. And I never saw this happen for the British. I don't really know why this is going so well. But the odds here, if I'm looking at this right, 229 minus 56, they have less men than we do. They just lost 2 of their pips, I guess. They just lost 2 of their pips. They're running out of ammo. They're down to half ammo. And they're still attacking. The AI must have set this to like a heavy assault, or this guy's ballsy. Yeah, he started out with less men than we did now. Oh, wow. And he's still going. I'm still trying to figure out this ammo thing, though. I think maybe if you're in a city, you just always have ammo. Unless it's blockaded. I don't know. Someone that knows this game needs to help me in the comments. But day 24 of this turn, he started on day, what, like 17? And he's still attacking. He's losing terribly. Awfully. British victory, British victory. He just lost one of his other raiders. Oh man, he's down to 79 men. Day 26, British victory. And it looks like he just lost his last unit. It looks like, yeah, it's just, the general, I think, is the only person left alive from that entire assault. Just the general. Yeah, look at this. This general is the only person left here. He led all these Indians to their death. This militia unit here actually survived. I'm amazed. Now, we can't see the rest of their units, but if he has no more units around here, I think that means I can actually get, Braddock here, over here. It's going to take 57 days. That's a while, actually. we're missing some cohesion, but we still have all of our strength. So we should still be able to move. Let's check the supply levels. There's still supply here. There's still supply. I think if you arrive in an area and it doesn't have enough supply, then like you just start pillaging the land or something, or I don't know. I don't know how it works. I think that depends on who owns what. So if we want to go right here, from here, it's literally going to take 144 days, guys. That is basically almost half a year. I know it's not exactly, but that's insane. So the fact that this actually didn't get burned to the ground may be pretty important, actually. Cannot build a depot here. We have a depot? No, we have a fort. I guess forts generate some supply as well as depots? I don't know. But if we look up here, Fort Frederick is besieged. This little, what is this? This is some amount of probably some French regulars, maybe, and some irregular native units, if I had to imagine. I could try to go across the river and stop them, but that would dedicate Braddock for this turn. And Fort Duck should be a sitting duck, now that I think about it. And so let's go over here and, where's the button? Enter the structure in the destination region. Yes, okay, cool. So it'll take him like 2 turns to get down there, but I don't think he has anyone else capable of coming over here to attack this place. So if we march down here, we can get there, arrive, climb in the fort, maybe spend a turn there getting some more supply, and then head up and attack Fort Duck. Because I don't think it has much of any units. Some expeditionary forces, if anything, as we can see. So this shouldn't be too big of a deal to have to fight with this massive-ass army. His power's low right now because, well, cohesion. He's been running around all winter. It's May now, so the snow should be starting to recede. Yes, it definitely has. How are the oceans doing? Mud. What is mud? So mud apparently is also some kind of harsh weather. It gives you a penalty crossing rivers and a slight penalty to attack. We got an event here. The Royal Navy in Boston. Royal Navy warships reach American waters and call in Boston. I guess call means like port or something. I don't know. But we have a ship here. Or wait, no. Oh, here's our ships. So the Windsor, which is not a no, it's a transport. Small transport, tiny transport. How can you be both? 3 elements. Oh, what's... Okay, right. So units have elements inside of them. Kind of like that one militia unit we saw had 2 elements inside of it. So this, I guess, has 2 elements of ships here. But this says ships of the line. This doesn't say anything about transports. I guess that's just its transport capability. And what is this? The Sphinx. This is a frigate light warship. I don't know if these can actually transport anything like this can. Why? Oh, I can't click while I'm on here. Like this can? No, because see, this has transport capacity. So these don't transport. This does. So we just got some actual warships. Bombard with your fleet. Okay. Yeah. So this could be pretty useful. I don't know how useful, but it could be useful in like, oh, we could send it up here. We could like if we, oh man, okay. How are the waters doing? Okay, this is looking good. So if I sent it up here, right? And I set it to bombard. Bombard will only occur in support of your own units. And then if I went and attacked Grand Pré with the army of Nova Scotia, which for right now we're just going to put over here, then that means, actually put over there, and can you enter? No, you cannot. Is there nothing here? There's a fort. Why can't you enter? Enter. Or maybe because I did this, he was already going to enter? I don't know. But enter the structure of the destination region. Yeah, he's not activated, so we can't really attack with him this turn, but what I'm thinking is, if I move these ships up here, and tell them to bombard, then I think that means that if I go ahead and basically assault Grand Pré immediately, which I guess I would want to, even though they have a fort. Actually, no, that's not true. I'm not sure because we have artillery, and I think artillery can blow holes in the fort during a siege. But if we use these ships to bombard Grand Pré, then I'm thinking that we can basically take this in one fell swoop, not this turn, but the next turn if he activates. We'll see, but I'm going to move them up here because I don't think I have to worry about them, these ships, suffering attrition. I mean, supply. We have supply in these nearby regions, but it's the exit points, maybe not. Does it exit out? Oh, it does exit out into there. Okay, maybe we will get supply. Then again, unless a region has a harbor exit point, like a port, I don't know if bombarding even works, but I'm gonna experiment and figure this out. But for now, thank you guys very much for watching. Let me know how you guys like this game, how you guys like the looks of it, how you guys would like seeing a series or multiple series on this game, because I do want to try the different major scenarios that are like standalone in this game, and maybe even do some PvP with some other YouTubers like Jake 2.0. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.